The best meme out there right now is Brian Dable's beard. If reversed, it works perfectly as his hair. And that, folks, is the reverse power tankings in a nutshell. Except we're smart enough to wear sunscreen here. Welcome to the only reverse power tanking show for the 2023 NFL season.
Turn around and throw it in reverse.
We're doing a Bryce Young episode as well, which will drop on Thanksgiving. Today, though, I'm going to rank the 9 worst NFL teams, and then we will bring in the wheel. But it's not a curse wheel today, it's a blessing wheel.
The degree of difficulty you are willing to endure to accomplish the goal, the mission, the task.
It will select a team whose fortunes will either turn around this season or when they complete the tanking task and draft their future QB. Spoiler, it's not the Panthers, since they can't draft anyone in 2024. I'm only doing 9 teams, so we leave one spot open on the blessing wheel, because I like the idea of having a chance that no terrible team gets any good fortune. All right, just so everyone knows, if I did go to 10, the Titans would have been number 10. But we're gonna start at 9 with the Raiders. Okay, I know, 2-game win streak. All right, I actually rooted for the Raiders after they banned Josh McDaniels from every casino in Vegas, but I think reality is about to bitch slap the Raiders in their dumb one-eyed faces. No offense, Leela. Now this is more of a prediction than a current state of being. The Raiders were devolving into a very dark place with Josh McDaniels. The ship was sinking, and he was shooting the women and children to make sure the lifeboat had enough room for his possessions, okay? And that's a hard place to fully recover from. The Raiders are about to play the Dolphins, the Chiefs, the Vikings, the Chargers, and the Chiefs again. I like the brand of football Antonio Pierce is coaching, but I think he's about to get out-schemed by a fully healthy Mike McDaniels offense, a nasty Chiefs defense, and a Chargers unit putting it together. I'm happy for the Raiders players, I really am, but I feel like this is a team that needs a lot of work, and I do not trust Mark Davis to do the right thing. Number 8, Packers. Damn. I do feel for Packers fans. Jordan Love is doing something, though, that I find concerning. He's the only quarterback not named Zach Wilson who is averaging less than 7 yards per attempt, who is also not completing at least 60% of his passes. The statistical caveat there is quarterbacks who have started over 8 games. Even Bryce Young is popping off 62.8% completions while averaging a disgusting 5.7 yards per attempt. Now, completion percentage, that's a misleading stat, right? Usually, though, it inflates higher than its actual impact rate on the field. Meaning a quarterback could have a very high completion percentage and still suck. Complete 20 checkdowns and lose by 10, but your box score looks respectable. Love has a low completion percentage while also throwing a lot of short passes, and when he does push it downfield, he throws too many picks, especially late in games. I think in that way, he kind of reminds me of Brett Favre, actually, without any of the fun stuff. He's a gunslinger, Love, but his gun is a pea shooter.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Hey, it's the holiday season, which means you need to either be making a list or shopping for everyone on your list. Well, today's episode is sponsored by Ridge.com/thatsgood. A gift I would have loved to get last Christmas. Ridge is a game changer for simplifying your wallet, keys, and everyday carry essentials. Give or ask for the gift that won't disappoint. Ridge has 30 plus colors to choose from. I have blue. It can hold up to 12 cards plus cash while staying slimmer than your team's chances of winning it all. Plus, it features RFID blocking materials protecting you from digital thieves. Not to mention anyone specific from the Kansas City area. Do you lose your keys or wallet frequently? I don't, but my wife does, which is why the AirTag feature is awesome to locate your stuff. So use my link below, ridge.com/thatsgood to get up to 30% off through December 20th. Ridge has a lifetime warranty, over 80,000 5-star reviews, a 99-day risk-free trial for you to test it, and with my link below, you can enter to win a Ridge bundle worth $4,000. Order now, and I'll show one lucky person my credit card number. Number 7, the Jets. A tale of two sides of the ball, really. The Jets, in my opinion, have the best or second best true defense in the NFL. They're the only top 5 unit hanging in there that gets absolutely nothing from their offense. The Browns and the Steelers are close, but they do get something from their offenses sometimes. Not the Jets. And yes, it might be sinful for me to call the Jets the 7th worst team because of how good their defense is, but dear God, watching that offense sans Aaron Rodgers is torture. Garrett Wilson won Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. Breece Hall is healthy, and nothing can work for this team offensively. I hope Rodgers does return in miraculous fashion and saves their season, and by saving their season, I mean a divisional round loss in the playoffs. Zach Wilson isn't always the problem, but maybe you're the problem. I don't feel good about putting you on here, Chicago, but damn, this season has to feel like you're serving a prison sentence. A long prison sentence for a minor drug violation. And every time you're up for parole, you get denied because you just had an incident in the cafeteria. I'm sorry, parole board, but I had to stab him because he stole my toilet wine. There's 7 weeks left for Chicago to evaluate Justin Fields. I think we will see this Bears team win a few games and that Fields will play well. I love the addition of Montez Sweat on defense, and I think Justin Fields will play himself into a different team, a different organization next year. My best guess? The Atlanta Falcons, where I think he's actually a better fit with Arthur Smith in that offense. The Bears could have 3 top 10 picks if they do this shit right. And Jim Harbaugh will spend them all on Michigan players. That's right, Fields to the Falcons, Harbaugh to the Bears. Number 5, the Cards. I'm sure many of you are shocked the Cardinals are this high on the list. Kyler Murray did look pretty good in his first game back. I say that carefully. There's plenty to be desired in the passing game from Kyler, but what he did on that 3rd and 10 to close out the game against Atlanta cannot be understated. I don't think Arizona is going to win many games, all right? But I also believe they have made it through the worst part of their season, hitting rock bottom in that Clayton Tune start against the Browns. They have a very tough schedule moving forward and might just be in position to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. to give Kyler Murray a true number 1 receiver, and that's exactly what he needs. It's too bad Bill O'Brien is not in Houston anymore because the Cardinals could just nab Nico Collins for a 7th rounder. And probably CJ Stroud. Number 4, it's the Falcons. It's the Falcons. You do not have the worst roster on this list, Atlanta. In fact, the reason you're so high here is because I feel like you're one of the most underperforming teams in the league. Arthur Smith's trust in Desmond Ridder this offseason was wild to me. Going to Taylor Heineke and then having to go back to Ridder after an injury, I just don't like any of it. Atlanta's offense is scoring 18.9 points per game, 9th worst in the league. They have a top 10 drafted running back in Bijan Robinson, a top 10 drafted wide receiver in Drake London, and a top 10 drafted tight end in Kyle Pitts, all of whom are indeed good, all of whom are dying in that offense. Atlanta also has a great offensive line and a much improved defense from 2022. They have the weapons, they have the time to throw, and just nobody to pull the trigger. The silver lining is they have the most reason to believe they do not have the guy of any of the teams evaluating their young QBs. My favorite what if right now is what if the Falcons drafted Sam Howell instead of Desmond Ridder? They'd have 11 more passing TDs this season and 1,000 more yards through the air right now and probably be in first place in the South. You better be in position to draft a QB or go trade for Justin Fields and run for 3,000 yards of offense next year. Number 3, Patriots. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Bad quarterback, check. Out of touch coach, check. Terrible offensive line, check. The Patriots are down bad. And I actually miss the overly confident Pats fans talking shit to me on Twitter. Honestly, one of the biggest losses this season was the injury to rookie corner Christian Gonzalez for the Patriots. He was playing out of his mind before going down. It started a ripple effect of panic for personnel on that secondary. The Patriots traded for J.C. Jackson, whom the Chargers stole away 2 off seasons ago, and free agency. He hasn't been good in his return and was disciplined by Bill Belichick for missing curfew and thus did not travel with the team to Germany. Then they released corner Jack Jones, who had a decent rookie season last year. Without a good offense, the Patriots look like every other dumb front office, always trying to play catch up and nothing ever working in their favor. Mac Jones is also bad. But the Patriots are not doing a good job developing him. He is the dirtiest player in the league. Do not forget that. I will never back down from that, but he deserves a better spot to be in. There, I said it. He's been benched multiple times this season, and then reports emerged that he had suddenly lost the locker room. Maybe that's true, but it sounds more like a hit piece to me. Here's what is undeniable, okay? Dan Orlovsky dove into the numbers, I guess, and tweeted this. Patriots pass protection, worst of any team in the last 4 seasons. Patriots target separation, worst of any team in the last 3 seasons. Not hyperbole, one of the worst QB situations over the last decade. I think that might be a little bit hyperbolic, but I agree. Nothing is going right for the Patriots' quarterback situation or their offense. Not having open receivers to throw to is bad. And gone are the days of me bitching about how Tom Brady's job is so easy because Julian Edelman or Gronk are uncovered on every single play. And unfortunately, there's no overnight fix for that. And what New England does this offseason may be the most interesting storylines we see. I pray to God they keep Belichick. Only because this team is finally eligible for Hard Knocks. Do it, NFL and HBO. Number 2, the Panthers. The Panthers do indeed have the worst record in the NFL, and they are a very bad team, but not the worst, okay? Sorry, Carolina. You're not even the best at being the worst. You know there's trouble in offensive paradise when head coach Frank Reich gives up play calling duties and then takes them back 3 weeks later. Offensive coordinator Thomas Brown did get the Panthers their only win against the Texans this season, but only managed 15, 13, and then 13 points in those 3 games. Again, my Bryce Young episode will be going up on Thanksgiving. What I will say is Young's offense, the Panthers' offense, is outscoring the Patriots and Mac Jones and the Jets' offense. Not exactly what you want to hear, right? But it could be worse. You could hear worse. For example, you could hear nobody has fewer passing yards than Bryce Young, and if they do, it's because they haven't started every game. We also know the Panthers' ball catchers are not breaking any ankles on the field. The Panthers' receivers couldn't break any bones at a charity game filled with patients suffering from osteoporosis and chronic ankle instability. The only separation they create is separating themselves from the pack for first overall pick. But the real problem is they can't run the damn ball. 90.3 yards per game on the ground, 3rd worst. 0.2 rushing TDs per game, 2nd worst, only trailing the Broncos. Speaking of which, Russell Wilson has more rushing yards than Miles Sanders. Chuba Hubbard has scored just 1 rushing TD this season on 94 attempts. All of that looks horrible when you have the first overall pick, take a quarterback, and bring in a head coach who is an offensive head coach. And number 1, the Giants.
I have been to places that you never want to go.
You did it, New York! You won! You won!
Watch the wild bird. Flip it and reverse it.
You're burning, you're reversing, you're doing it all. The Giants' offense is averaging 11.8 points per game. That's really difficult to do in the modern NFL. Only the 2000 Browns and Bengals, the 09 Rams, and the 06 Raiders have averaged fewer points per game. To put it in another way, the Giants currently have the 5th worst offense we've seen in the last 23 years. Here's what's hilarious about the Giants' pathetic offense, though. They're running 64.5 plays per game, 6th most, meaning they are doing the least with the most opportunities. They're giving up the 2nd most red zone touchdowns. You can find so many bad stats for the Giants, it's really easy. It's like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet and seeing that nobody's touched the salad bar. Like with most very bad teams, injuries are a big part of the story. The Giants, the Jets, and the Panthers all have the most current players on IR at 13. Dan Jones, IR. Tyrod Taylor, IR. When both your starter and your backup quarterback are on IR, you're down bad. That's really not Brian Daboll's fault. It's not the Giants organization's fault. It's just bad luck. Unless you're the 49ers, then it's not bad luck. You gotta have Brock Purdy as your 3rd stringer. Tommy DeVito is way too Italian to be Birdie. Hey, what are you calling me and not a bird? Ay, cha-cha, mamma mia. Darren Waller, and hell, even kicker Graham Gano, who wasn't great, on IR, which tells half the story as the Giants have also been rotating injured non-IR players all season. They signed lineman Justin Pugh
straight off the couch
because Evan Neal and Andrew Thomas both missed time on and off all season. Saquon Barkley missed 3 games. Dan Jones was not playing well before his first injury. 2 touchdowns and 6 picks on the year for Jones in 5.5 games. The Giants would have terribly disappointed their fans this season, even if they stayed healthy, but they probably would have won 4 to 6 games. It seems impossible watching the 2023 Giants that in the same calendar year, that team won a playoff game. They're the worst team right now and the most underachieving team for 2023. And Daniel Jones, he's just not good. His only decent game this season came against the Cardinals, who are the only team giving up more red zone touchdowns than the Giants. I still think Brian Daboll is a good coach. I know the Giants will draft a quarterback if they keep their spot at number 2 overall, and ultimately, that will be a good thing. Dan Jones will make an excellent backup QB. Draft that rookie, keep Jones, keep Tyrod, and then you're set, New York. Let's see who the wheel decides to bless. Will it be the Giants? Nobody knows.
They said, what do we call it? We'll call it passion.
Whose fortunes shall be changed? Blessing wheel. Number 6.
It means you care so much for something, you're willing to suffer for
Where
it.
did I put it? 6. Oh, it's the Chicago Bears. Your fortunes might change this year or via the draft. I swear to God, if the Bears are good next year, we gotta remember this happened, because I will forget. Thanks for watching the Reverse Power Rankings, and thank you for voting that you wanted to see this episode on the YouTube community tab. Please subscribe here, turn on those notifications, and we will continue to collaborate to figure out what videos you want to see.